One of the biggest debates for Nintendo fans of 2020 has definitely been one thing. Is the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection actually a real thing? With Nintendo's quiet 2020, fans have been looking forward to any sort of announcement for their Nintendo Switch. And while I have been in the camp that the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection is a real thing, many people are not, which I can understand. However, some new things have been happening with this situation that I think can even make the most hardcore skeptic agree that something is happening with Mario and it's happening very soon. So what's the latest information? Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about the latest ongoings with the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection, why I think it's real and why I think it's coming, and it's coming very soon. So in case you are unfamiliar about what the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection is all about, let me catch you up to speed, even though you should have been watching my videos on this situation. Basically, Mario is turning 35 in 2020. He is celebrating his 35th anniversary of the original release of Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Entertainment System. And of course, Mario is probably the biggest brand on the Nintendo platforms when it comes to games, game sales, game merchandising. When you think of Nintendo, you think of Mario. He is pretty much the mascot for the company. Of course, 10 years ago, Nintendo released the Mario 25th Anniversary Collection on the Nintendo Wii, which really wasn't much of anything. It was just Super Mario All-Stars brought over from the Super Nintendo onto the Nintendo Wii with like a bonus music disc and things like that. But still, that really sort of laid the groundwork for one thing. Nintendo likes to celebrate the fives when it comes to their anniversaries, the 25th anniversary, and now of course the 35th anniversary that is happening this year in 2020. Now the rumors for the games involved with the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection are as follows. We have Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Mario 3D World Deluxe. Now the interesting thing about this is that Super Mario 3D World Deluxe seems to be like a separate thing, whereas the other three games, many people are anticipating they will be sort of bundled together. Whereas Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, which of course originally released on the Wii U, will be getting an enhanced version of the game on the system, similar to other games that have come over from the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch. There's been rumors of new characters, potentially new worlds as well, but that really seems to be the outlier game when it comes to this compilation, as the main focus seems to be around Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, of course, which are the three first games in the 3D entries for the Super Mario franchise. Now back in July, I made a video talking about the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection and how we were potentially getting information on it within the next week, because I had heard that there was a Nintendo Direct of some sort that was coming. Now that Nintendo Direct did end up happening that next week, but unfortunately it was the third-party showcase presentation, which really didn't have much stuff for me in it. But now it seems like people are thinking that the Nintendo Switch is going to be getting a Nintendo Direct next week that will potentially involve the Super Mario Bros. Franchise and the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection. So why are people thinking this? What other stuff is happening? And what do I think about this situation is sort of what I want to break down for the rest of this video. Now, a lot of this is of course stemming from the announcement that happened earlier this morning, depending on when you're watching this video. The next Indie World Showcase is headed your way. Tune in on Tuesday, August 18th at 9 a.m. Pacific time for roughly 20 minutes of information on indie games coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now I know what you're saying to yourself, RGT, you're kind of stupid. Mario is not a indie title. They're not going to talk about Mario stuff during this indie presentation, and you would be 100% correct. But I'm not really concerned about the Indie World presentation. I'm just concerned about what the Indie World presentation means, because if you've been following Nintendo for any amount of time, you would know one thing. Whenever there's an Indie World presentation, a Nintendo Direct of some sorts is right around the corner. Let's look at some stuff, shall we? So back in August of 2019, Nintendo's Twitter account put out a picture of Mario eating a watermelon, and a lot of people said, this is Super Mario Sunshine. I'm probably sure that I thought it had to do with Super Mario Sunshine as well, but it ended up just being sort of an innocent tweet. Or was it? Because there was actually an Indie World presentation that happened on August 19th of 2019, and then a Nintendo Direct happened on September 2nd of 2019, which of course was the last full Nintendo Direct that we got. Now to bring it back into 2020, in March of 2020, we of course got two Nintendo presentations in that month. On March 17th, 2020, we got an Indie World presentation. And on March 26th, we got a Nintendo Direct Mini, which of course introduced games like BioShock and Borderlands and XCOM as coming to the Nintendo Switch. And that was the last Nintendo Direct Mini that we got. And once again, now in August, but this time in August of 2020, Nintendo puts out a picture of Mario chilling on a beach that looks a lot like Delfino Island, chilling in a chair, and there's a chair next to him that is definitely occupied by someone potentially, and there's two drinks there. The chair that Mario is sitting in is red, the other chair is green, sort of signifying, and a lot of people thought, oh, well, this is just a nice picture. But then, of course, this morning, an Indie World presentation was announced for August 18th. So pretty much just looking at the pattern of events that we see. Whenever there's an Indie World presentation, there is a Nintendo Direct of some sorts that follows it up within a week or two, whether it's a full-on Nintendo Direct like we saw in August and September of 2019, or a Nintendo Direct Mini that we saw in March of 2020. Something always happens with a Nintendo Direct right around it. So that pretty much signifies to me that a Nintendo Direct is happening of some sorts. I'm not saying it's a full-on one, but at least a Nintendo Direct Mini or a Nintendo Direct potentially focused around the Super Mario 35th anniversary will be happening either next week or the first week of September for the Nintendo Switch, because it's right there. The proof is in the pudding. Every time there's an Indie World presentation, a Nintendo Direct follows it up. Still not convinced that a Nintendo Direct that's probably going to be about the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection isn't coming soon? Well, I got some more stuff for you, so just sit tight, just sit tight. Now, of course, like I said, Mario is the face of Nintendo, but all of a sudden, two new Mario-related controllers just popped up on Amazon from big companies that work with Nintendo. And you might be saying to yourself, well, you just said he's the face of the company. Of course they're going to do controllers for him, but it's timing. Everything happens for a reason in the world of business, and the sooner people can sort of accept this, I think the sooner people will start to accept that the Mario 35th Anniversary Collection is definitely coming. So taking a look at these two controllers, one of them is coming to us from Hori. Now the Hori controller, I think just looks pretty ugly. Like it looks kind of like a Wish.com controller where they just sort of like put a random Mario spread on it. I don't know. It's not about what the controller looks like. It's about the release date of the controller for this. Now this controller is currently up for pre-order, and this controller will be releasing on September 1st. So that's kind of a very specific date, the start of September. And then let's take a look at the other controller that is not from Hori, but is from a different company. This controller comes to us from Power A, and once again, not really the best looking controller. I mean, this one I think looks a little bit better, but let's take a look at the pre-order date for this controller. This controller released on September 4th. So two different companies are making two different Mario related controllers. Each of them are coming out at the very start of September. That's just, you know, I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? And it's just a coincidence that a Nintendo Direct has followed up all the Indie World presentations and there's not going to be a Nintendo Direct. Like, come on, people, come on. Something is happening with Mario here. The proof is in the pudding. Why would these two controllers from two separate companies all of a sudden be announced and then be coming out at the very start of September? And the final thing that I want to bring to your guys' attention that just happens to be happening in September as well is that Nintendo recently announced that there will be a management briefing session happening on September 16th in Tokyo, Japan in Nintendo's home offices. Now, of course, you could be saying to yourself, well, you know, it's just a business meeting. Who cares? They're not going to talk about games or anything like that. But this business meeting just happens to be happening in the month of September. It just happens to be happening in the same month that Mario is celebrating his 35th anniversary. It just happens to be happening in the middle of the month, probably after the fact that we get this Nintendo Direct and this Indie World presentation. Look, people, can you imagine Nintendo walking into this management briefing session and just being like, all right, so here's what we got going on. We got Pikmin 3 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch, and that's it. Subidabap! Of course not. Nintendo has to have more for the year of 2020 because it's been a quiet year so far. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is going to sell pretty good, I think, but obviously the Mario 35th Anniversary Collection is something that they have been gearing up towards. Mario turns 35 in the month of September. All of this stuff just happens to be happening in the month of September. A Indie World presentation just happens to be happening tomorrow, which means that a Nintendo Direct of some sorts is going to follow potentially at the end of August or the month of September. I honestly think that these games, at least the three games, the Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Odyssey, are actually going to release in September because of just the timing of everything. It is the 35th anniversary of Mario. He turns 35 in the month of September. You don't have any games to talk about for the month of September. If you have this huge Mario collection for the month of September, Pikmin 3 Deluxe for the month of October, and then maybe another game or something for the rest of the year for the Nintendo Switch that's a first-party title, couple that with some third-party offerings, you have a very stellar out holiday lineup that can easily just transform what people are thinking with the Nintendo Switch. I honestly feel like we're going to be getting some information very, very soon. I'm actually looking forward to the Indie World presentation, not only just because it sort of means that a Nintendo Direct is coming, but it also means that we're going to get more game announcements, because indie games are fun, man. Quit sleeping on indie games. But it's definitely a very exciting time, and I really feel like we're going to see something next week potentially from Nintendo talking about this Nintendo Direct, and then potentially Mario coming out in the month of September. But those are just my thoughts on the situation, how I see all this playing out, how I see all the dots lining up, and how I see Nintendo's rest of 2020 going. But maybe you think that it's still not a real thing. You think that Nintendo is just going to do Pikmin 3 Deluxe and then call it a year, and you're allowed to think that. I just think it's wrong. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think of everything, because I'm very curious to see, do you think this pretty much proves that we're going to get the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection stuff very soon? Or do you think, like I said, it's just made up and you're just gonna get Pikmin 3 Deluxe and that's it for the year? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Be sure to check out other videos on the channel. Everyone's talking about Skyward Sword on the Switch now, and I'm like, we talked about that last week, so check out that Legend of Zelda for 2021 video on the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.